welcome to my channel. I'm going to be having a bit of a chat with you today about something exciting that is brewing under the surface. If you are following me on social media, you will totally know what all this is about. But I am going to be moving to Bali, and I can't believe that I'm saying that. Like, it sounds crazy. I am that girl. I'm that girl. I'm going to be moving to Bali to go and work from there for 4 months. Now, the reason that this is such a big thing for me is because it really has come full circle. I have wanted to create the kind of business for years and years and years that allowed me to travel, but also be able to make money whilst traveling. And the way that I've done travel before in the past is that it's been through contracted employment, where I've been on a cruise ship or working in an international theme park, or something that has meant that that is where I'm based and that is my full-time job. I've also done traveling where I had a working holiday visa and I kind of hopped from city to city finding different jobs, but ultimately I was always kind of tied into having to figure out what my next income was, what the next opportunity was to make some money so that I could continue to travel. And the great news is that I've spent the past however many years, I don't even want to say, I've spent years and years, you know, building up a network, being able to really refine my skill set, figure out what it is that I can actually monetize, figuring out, you know, what it is that I can help people with, figuring out the kind of person that I want to work with, figuring out how I can brand and how I can market and how I can connect and how I can still have the opportunity to create the things that I want to create whilst building a business at the same time. And you know, it has been a journey. It's been a messy disaster for most of it, but I've learned so much, and I've been able to, you know, get into a position that I can go, right, you know what, I feel like I know what I'm doing. I know how to build this business. I know how to look after the clients I've got. I know how to bring new clients in. I know how to refine my services. And ultimately, I know how to travel. So if I can marry these two things together, be able to go somewhere new, experience somewhere new, work from somewhere that is different from this sweaty attic right now, be able to release my creativity, try new things, get really, really in the nitty gritty of the things that I know spark me and make me excited and get me to create new things. So that is ultimately what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Obviously, I am currently living with my boyfriend. And this has obviously been a big topic of conversation. Is he going with you? The answer is no. He's going to be staying here. You know, he loves to renovate houses and do all of that stuff, and it's just not something that he can do while we're away. So he's going to come over and visit, but ultimately he will be holding down the fort back home whilst I am kind of trying out this new chapter and trying this new thing in my life. So I'm really excited about it. But it definitely is, you know, it's scary. I've not done anything like this for a long time. I feel like as you get older, there are certain, you know, commitments and things that you need to take seriously, and settling down and all those kind of things that get, you know, the narrative that comes forward. So naturally, this feels very different to when I've gone before, when I was in my 20s, and it was just kind of like, yeah, let's just live life. There's no goal here. There's no purpose. You know, yes, of course, I'm kind of just going with the flow, but ultimately there is a goal. And that goal is to be able to, you know, meet new people, be able to find the kind of people that get me, and experience new destinations, so that potentially I can, you know, curate a trip that allows a few of us to go over there and experience it, you know, the absolute highlights of it while we're there. So this is a purposeful trip, but also it does have that element of let's just see what happens, because I do not have a plan. You know, I love to plan trips and holidays down to the finest detail, but when you've got 4 months to play with, there isn't that sense of urgency. There isn't that, oh my gosh, I might miss something. I've only got 5 days. Let me make the most of it. This is kind of like, let's just kind of, you know, go with the flow. Let's allow whatever to kind of happen. So I'm really excited about that. Obviously, there are kind of bucket list things that I want to make sure I tick, but for the most part, I'm just kind of going to see what happens and letting myself be, you know, guided and led to new opportunities, new people, new experiences, new destinations, new places, things that potentially I'm not going to see on Instagram as, you know, the top 10 highlights of Bali. You know, things that are going to be the hidden gems, the secret little places. They're the things that I'm really interested in. So I'm super, super excited about that. I guess what I want to talk about is the lesson through this process. You know, I am someone who likes to follow my dreams. And I know that it's really difficult for people to sometimes take the action, the uncomfortable action that is going to lead them to the big thing on the other side, because we don't know that it's going to. And I know that there have been opportunities, you know, that you've more than likely followed your dream, followed your gut, you've gone through something, and then, you know, boom, nothing happened, right? But there are ultimately the flip side of that, where you have done it and things have happened, and it might not have happened in the way that you wished it would, or that you wanted it to. But you know, if you actually connect the dots, you can see that you've actually arrived at a destination that you weren't at 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 4 years ago. So that's really important, and this is why I want to, you know, create this video today, because I'm sure that there's people watching this thinking, oh gosh, it's all right for her, you know, she's got this business, she's got this, she's got that. Look, at the end of the day, guys, I was traveling way before I had a business. And not to say that it was the best way to travel, you know, it didn't necessarily suit what I wanted, but I still found ways to do what I loved. And there are ways for you to do what you love right now. Also, you don't have to be, you know, a 6-figure earner to be able to go somewhere. You know, I'm not doing this on some crazy, bougie, luxurious budget. The reason I'm going to Bali is because it's dirt cheap. The reason I'm going there is because the first place I'm staying cost me £12 a night, for like an incredible hotel room with a gorgeous pool and, you know, painting classes for free, all sorts of exciting things. Picking somewhere that is going to be reasonable for you is obviously part of the puzzle. I could easily say, right, you know what, I'm going to go and work from Singapore for 3 months, but guess what? I probably couldn't afford that. So it's about just figuring out, you know, what do you want out of it? And I know that I want to feel luxurious. I want to be indoor, outdoor living. I want to experience some of those things without the massive price tag that often comes with it. Now, that's not to say that Bali is, you know, ridiculously dirt cheap, because yes, it's gone up, it's become more popular, it's costing a lot more money than it did used to before, but it's still a lot cheaper than if I was going to be anywhere in Europe, for example. So, you know, it's all about weighing it up, and you know, sometimes we are further ahead than we think we are, and we don't realize that because we think, oh gosh, it's all right for them, you know, they've got you know, 2 villas by the sea, and they've got this, and they've got this, you know, wealthy partner, and they've got, you know, all of these different like nuts and bolts. But ultimately, you know, this is not going to be the most smooth sailing thing. I imagine there's going to be time difference issues with me and my clients that I need to kind of work through. There's lots of things, and I'm planning to give you the Instagram versus reality truth. I want to be able to share with you the benefits, the positives, all of the good stuff, the reason that this is a thing that people do. But ultimately, I want to show you that actually it probably isn't, you know, the most glamorous way of working. There are other ways that probably feel a bit more comfortable. There's going to be bugs to deal with, there's going to be heat, there's going to be rain, because I'm going during the rainy season, and I'm excited to share all that with you. But obviously, for me, adventure is something that I love to do. So whether it's, you know, a crazy adventure in the sense of probably things that go to plan, or whether it's an adventure where everything is just gorgeous and incredible, you know, a combination of those is what I tend to seek when I travel. So, you know, I'm totally down with this. I'm ready for it. A couple of things that I've been talking to people about are what to prepare for going away for a long period of time. Now, before, when I've traveled in this way, like I said, it's been in my 20s, it's been a bit more carefree and kind of like, yeah, we'll just see what happens, I'll buy something when I'm there, whatever. But I know that Bali doesn't necessarily have all of the infrastructure I need, particularly to deal with my hair, to deal with some of the things that I need, like, you know, digitally. So I've got a little bit ahead of the game, so that I can try and get as prepared as possible. I'm going to show you a couple of things that I've packed that I think will actually massively help me when it comes to, you know, going to a new destination. So the first thing that I've packed is power bank. Now, obviously, you guys will know that power banks are essential for life anyway. You know, if you're on a late night and you're on a train back from London, you want to be able to make sure that you've got charge, right? So having a backup charger is going to be massively beneficial, and the charger that I have actually has wires built into it. So that's the USB where it charges, and then I've got like a USB output. I've also got my iPhone one, obviously this is the one that gets used the most, and also like I guess like a Samsung one as well. So all of this is built in, so all it means I need to do is just charge this, and then I know that I'm going to be able to charge whatever I need to charge at some point as well. So this is going to be massive when I'm traveling, because I don't want to be risking running out of battery or anything like that. Another thing that I'm going to look into this week is a digital SIM card. So I am going to need to make sure that I've got a local SIM, so that I've got internet service, all of that good stuff. This is going to be a little bit difficult, and I don't know how I'm going to navigate some of this, because for example, when we, you know, have bank accounts or certain like login details and things like that, sometimes the the website or the app or whatever will send you a text message. Now I'm obviously not going to receive that text message if I've got a different SIM card, so I'm not sure how things like that are going to work while I'm abroad. So there's just a few things that I really need to be aware of, and these are things that I'll share with you as I kind of navigate through that. But I'm trying to kind of figure it out now, and kind of be aware of it now so that I can actually prepare for that as we move through, you know, the next phase. A few people have told me about Bali belly, and I guess, you know, someone that's been to Thailand and, you know, Morocco and other places where I have unfortunately had an upset stomach, in the, you know, the most tame way possible. You know, it's really important to be prepared for things like that. So what I have done is I've stocked up, and I've got some Andrew salt. So these are really good for upset stomachs. I'm going to take this, and it means I can literally add some of this to water, and then it can help to hopefully relieve the pain and kind of clear things out of my system. So there's that. And I've also picked up some acute diarrhea relief tablets. I know this is so gross, but you know, just being real. Trying to get as prepared as I can. Another thing that I know is going to be a problem while I'm in Bali is obviously the bugs. I'm not too bad with like geckos and lizards and kind of little things like that. Like, they don't bother me, but I think that I don't know about the cockroach situation. I remember when I went to Thailand and we went to the toilet in like our guest house. It was like a shared toilet thing, and then you turn the one light on, and as soon as we turned the light on, we just saw the whole floor just like scatter all these cockroaches. Oh my god, it was awful. So I don't know if we're gonna have experiences like that, or whether I don't know. I really don't know, but I'm trying not to like let myself get too scared of it. But obviously the main thing that I am concerned about is mosquitoes. I hate getting bitten by mosquitoes. I know it's just a given when you go anywhere that's tropical, but those bites and those irritations, those itching is just the worst. So I'm gonna try and be as covered as possible with my jungle formula. So I'll be taking this with me. I've got a couple of these, and then while I'm in Bali I'll pick up some more as well. Apparently there's some local stuff that's meant to be really, really strong, so I'll get that as well. Somewhere I've also got an antiseptic cream, so I can put that on as well. Make sure that if I do get bitten, that, you know, it kind of cools it down and soothes it as much as possible. Another thing that I've got is Beecham's cold and flu, because, you know, you never know. I feel like when you travel and when you're kind of adjusting to time difference and all that, you tend to get a little bit poorly, a little bit ill. So I just feel like any kind of things like that are just going to help get through are really good. I'm also going to pick up some vitamins today as well, so I've got some kind of just like natural remedies to help me through things like that. Also, the next thing that I've got is, oh, if I can get it, is a torch. Now I feel like we rely on phones a bit too much, and I know that like phones are good for torch and whatever, but ultimately if I'm going to be walking around and I don't want to have my phone in my hand all of the time, I'm in a new location, you know, I'm in a new place, I want to make sure that I can see, but I don't necessarily want to rely on my phone. So I've got a torch, and it's just a little battery, and so this is something that I can use if I'm going into my room and, you know, little bits like that. So I've got this, and I've got a couple of these, and it's obviously got a keyring bit on it as well, just to make it easy so I can attach it to my bag or, you know, wherever I need it to go. But it just makes it that little bit easier, and I don't have to constantly rely on my phone and drain the battery and things like that. So really important to have that with me. And then another thing that I've got, which, you know, this is a girl thing, but, you know, don't come for me. If you are someone who is, you know, all about moon cups and organic cups and menstrual cups and all that stuff, I feel you so hard, because literally I used to use organic cup and it worked, you know, for a period of time, and then there just came this period where, one, I just couldn't get it in. It just really, it just wouldn't open up like when it went in, so it was like folded, and two, it would just constantly leak. So what it meant was that I was constantly, I had a, you know, an organic cup there, but then I would also have to have a pad as well, so it was just, you know, just didn't work in the way that I wanted it to. So I'm gonna take it with me, and I hope that I can kind of figure it out. But everyone on lots of different Bali forums have said that it's really difficult and really expensive to get tampons, and I'm someone that has very, very heavy menstrual cycles, and I cannot risk not being able to, you know, have access to constant tampons if my organic cup doesn't work. So I've literally stocked up on the biggest bag. We went to Costco, and I just got a whole tray of tampons and a whole tray of pads. Now this is gonna look crazy, but I am away for 4 months. So I've got tampons at the bottom, pads at the top, and this is what I'm gonna be taking with me to Bali. Like I said, if there is a way, oh my gosh, if there is a way that I can use organic cup and I can just switch to that, one, it will save me a fortune, and two, it will just be so much better for the environment. So if you have any tips, any recommendations, any ideas, I've tried everything, but I'm willing to try even more, or different cups that might work for you, please let me know, because I would love to go back to using it like I said, it's just been a struggle recently. I don't understand in the past few years. And then I've got lots more things obviously that I've packed, packing cubes, all sorts of chargers and wires and all that stuff. But ultimately, this is something that I'm really excited to use, and this is a Doorstop that has an alarm on it. Now, this is safety first, obviously. You know, when you are traveling, yes, I'm gonna be meeting people while I'm out there, and you know, I've got people that I've already started, you know, speaking to and making friends with and things like that. But ultimately, you know, in the beginning, I am traveling by myself. I don't know people, so I need to make sure I've got my wits about me at all times. And I've seen stories of, you know, all sorts of crazy things going on, which, you know, you can fall down a rabbit hole with that, but you know, safety first, right? So what I've decided to do is get this Doorstop. Now, what it means is that at the end of, you know, whenever I'm going to bed, close the door, lock the door, and then you put this Doorstop underneath the door, ever so slightly, press it down, and then it's got an alarm on it that sounds. So I don't know if I'm gonna put it on now, but so it's loud, right? It's really loud. So what I'll do is put that on the door, leave it there, and it just gives me peace of mind when I'm asleep, while I'm asleep. If anything to just be extra cautious while I'm out there, that is what I'm gonna do. And I don't mean to scare you, you know, this is not like, you know, I've traveled a lot and, you know, thankfully, touch wood, it's always been good, but I just think that, you know, you can never be too careful, particularly if you've got access to these things. You know, we live in a world where we have things like this. And then I think I said last but not least a minute ago, actually. Last but not least, and I think I already said last but not least, but this is another one. AirTags, Apple AirTags. I don't know if you can see that. But basically, a photographer from Cappadocia actually recommended that I get these. I think now more than ever, because people's suitcases are going missing and I'm going to be moving from place to place, I want to make sure that I've got my belongings with me. You know, this is going to be really, really handy. So I've got my Find My iPhone on and, you know, all that kind of stuff, all the standard stuff. But an Apple AirTag is also a tracker. So ultimately, I can leave this in my suitcase, I can leave this in my, you know, my work backpack, and it just means that I know where my things are at all times. Now, these tags just come on their own as like little discs. You pull out the little label thing and then it launches it. You can put the item that it is and kind of sync it with that. And then also what I've done is I've bought a couple of key rings. So you just pop it in the key ring of my suitcase on the inside and on the inside of my backpack, you know, things like that, just to make sure that I've got it with me. So they're just a couple of things that I'm going to be taking. I feel that there's a lot to prepare, and I know for sure, you know, I'm pretty 99% sure that I'm gonna miss something, just because there always is. It might be that it's a home comfort, it might be that it's my favorite pens, it could be anything, but I definitely feel like, you know, with anything when you're going away for 4 months, you know, there's gonna be something that we'd probably miss. So I hope that that is everything that I need, and that it just turns out that it might be something that would have been nice, you know, that I could have. But I'm really looking forward to it, and obviously I would be absolutely, you know, over the moon if you followed along with this journey with me. I haven't done this for a long time. I've never really done it on this scale where I've been kind of responsible for my own schedule completely. I've always had a job, I've always had, you know, some responsibilities while I'm out there, whereas this is going to be a little bit different. You know, I'm running my own business, I'm going to be on my own time zone, and you know, I know there's so many people that are probably watching this that would love to be in this position to have the choice to do this. And you know, I know that even if you have got your own business, you know, like you might have created something that allows you to work and travel. It isn't always necessarily the most easy thing to do. I could totally have just stayed at home and just, this is the easy life. I'm definitely disrupting my pattern at the moment. But in my sense, I just feel like when you have that niggle, when you have that desire, that itch, you know, all that stuff, then, you know, they're the things that lead you to things that you probably couldn't just never even dream of. So I'm excited to experience it. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, sharing this journey with you. If you are not in my Facebook group, which is called Girls Just Want to Create, and you want to know how to build a digital business, my little nuggets and tips and things like that, I give access to my masterclasses and all the sort of value pieces that I'll be sharing in that group first. I'll also be doing some behind the scenes of my Bali trip as well. So make sure that you join my Facebook community. I'll pop the link below, and all of you have an amazing day. I look forward to seeing you on the other side. I'll be spending 3 nights in Singapore, and then I'll be heading over to Bali. So have an amazing rest of your week, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.